Everybody gets their phone out, and I would have this physical urge.
Smartphones are extensions of ourselves.
Women had higher problematic smartphone use than men did.
It is my clock, my distractor, my playmate.
Parents are putting their children into institutions to detoxify them of technology.
It is hard to go to a flip phone when the rest of the world is on a smartphone.
On their own, and with intentional use, smartphones and other smart devices are amazing. It's the world's knowledge at your fingertips, and you use it to look at endless cat videos. If you feel like you're wasting your time glued to your screen, you're right to be concerned about it. Screen time and smart device addiction in particular has now been proven through research to worsen your mental state, specifically increasing depression and anxiety. On top of that, for children it gets worse since their minds are developing, resulting in an increase in ADHD symptoms. Seriously, I looked into the research. Just think twice before handing your child an iPad without restrictions, that's all I'll say. If this bothers you, then you've likely explored the idea of flip phones or dumb phones. For the record, flip phones and dumb phones are wonderful if you're in a position in your life where you can 100% turn off the spigot of smartphones. I am not in a place in my life where I can. My smartphone does tend to make my day-to-day life easier with two-factor authentication, online banking, jotting down a quick note, GPS, news articles, music, tap to pay, and that's mentioning nothing of work responsibilities. I'm assuming you're like me. You want to limit the time-wasting and addicting aspects of your smartphone, like social media, but not give up the modern-day conveniences and efficiency that it affords you. This is not sponsored, this is my honest opinion. This is effectively a key that unlocks certain time-wasting apps on your device. Its goal is to make your smartphone usage intentional, and in my case, it has. I'm sleeping better, I have more mental power toward the end of the day, I'm engaged with my in-person interactions, I have less anxiety, and I generally just feel better. I really love technology that improves our lives and doesn't just add filler. I've been using it for 2 to 3 months, so the honeymoon period is over. I can confidently say this has improved my day-to-day life. It's doing its job and has disappeared into the background of my routine, which is exactly where I want it to be. This is called Unpluq with a Q, or Unpluq? I think it's Unpluq. I'm gonna call it Unpluq. Sorry if that's wrong. It's really simple how Unpluq works. The app for iOS or Android lets you create a time frame to block certain distracting apps. For example, let's say when you arrive home from work, you want to be more focused on family time. You'd set a time frame of Monday through Friday and select all your social media apps. After you've done this, you choose your distraction barrier. This is called intentional friction. It's an action you have to perform before accessing the app. I think this is where Unpluq really shines. You have up to 6 options for your barrier. These are tap pattern, where you mimic the tap pattern, shake, where you shake the phone, scroll, where you have to scroll down for a period of time, QR code, you can literally print off the QR code, put it in your house away from where you interact with your phone, and only by scanning it will it unlock the apps. And finally, the Unpluq tag, a $22 NFC device that you simply tap to your phone and it unlocks all of your apps. You can also set this to random, so any one of the available options will be your barrier, keeping you on your toes and preventing you from easily bypassing the barrier you put in place. Remember, smartphone addiction is an addiction. You'll naturally find the quickest way through your barrier. Unpluq just works in the background, which is when technology is at its best. In my experience at first, I was conscious of it because I was still compulsively wanting to use certain apps. But a funny thing happened. As my brain viewed the obstacle of accessing these apps as more trouble than it was worth, after about a week and a half to 2 weeks, I stopped reaching for my phone without reason. You may be asking, doesn't iOS and Android have a screen time monitor? Yes, they do. It's just too easy to bypass. It doesn't actually put any barriers in place. If you have an addiction and you're serious about tackling it, the native screen time solutions where you monitor your screen time probably won't work. And most of us have built up a screen habit. It's okay to use a direct method. Sometimes we all need a bit of help. But what happens if you lose your Unpluq tag, or you have an emergency and just need to access a particular app you blocked right now? First, if you lost your tag, don't panic. You can indicate in the app that you've lost it and it'll set an alternative non-tag barrier. For an emergency, you can turn on emergency mode up to 1 time per day, which will give you full access to all apps for 5 minutes. This would be enough time to disable any schedule you have set and use your apps as needed. Now, some people will say, well, I'll just use the emergency mode and then I'll just bypass it. And to that, I would say, Unpluq is going to be a good solution for a lot of people. It may not be the solution for you. So if a dumb phone makes more sense, or you're just having a hard time kicking the habit and you're just using the emergency mode to bypass everything constantly, then it's probably best that you just go straight to a dumb phone. Unpluq is available on the App Store and Google Play Store for free. The free version allows you to block your 2 most distracting apps on one schedule. This wasn't enough for me and probably won't be enough for most people. The premium version, as of now, is $60 a year. However, if you want the NFC tag for a distraction barrier, then you need to go to their website, unpluq.com, and order from there. They also offer the tag paired with the premium version of the app that you can buy through their website, and that's at a 6-month, 1 year, and 3 year at various prices. I want to reiterate, this is not what Unpluq is. This is an optional part of what Unpluq is. This is the NFC tag. In order to use Unpluq, you don't necessarily need this. Frankly, I actually don't use this a whole lot because I have my distraction barriers set at random. This comes up like once every few times that like I need this, and a lot of times it's either the tap or the scroll or whatever, but I have them set to the highest setting, so it takes me a while, and I frankly just get to the point where I'm like, well, okay, it's not worth it. Concerning privacy, quote, Unpluq does not store or sell any of your data, and in most cases, your data is not even accessible to us. You are not our product, end quote. So far, I've been positive about this app, but I do have some constructive criticism. Number 1, I'd love an option to make this location-based. Making a home and work proximity would be great. I understand that a schedule-based blocker and location-based blocker can conflict, so that may require more effort to implement, but this would be a great addition. Maybe let people choose which type of blocking they prefer. Number 2, phone addiction is a hard problem to face on your own. Perhaps being able to pair up with a partner, maybe an accountability buddy, like a diet plan perhaps, wouldn't be the worst idea for some people. Number 3, we can only limit 49 apps on the premium version. This is probably more than enough, definitely enough to hit all the major social media time waster apps, but I'd like more, I'm greedy. Number 4, what if Unpluq came out with another hardware product, like a dead man's switch? The phone has to stay on that switch during a set time, or else it makes an awful sound, or it just locks your phone. I don't know, I'm just spitballing. Maybe that's too drastic. But on that note, there are other options you can explore to counter your smartphone addiction if you don't think Unpluq is for you. You can try the old phone in another room. You take your phone, you put it far away in a room, that way you can still hear it if it rings, but it's away and you have to physically get up and go get it. You could also get a timed lock box from Amazon. You can pay $15 to $30 a month for another line that is only a flip phone or dumb phone, and you can use that. And you could try out other apps like Off Time, Moment, Break Free, or any others. There's a lot of options to counter smartphone addiction, and they are maturing, they are developing, because smartphone addiction is a global problem, and it's one that we don't fully understand yet. We just have kind of an intuition and a bit of research that is heavily implying that it's not the best. It affects both adults and particularly children. Tech companies engineer everything about these apps and devices to make them pleasant and addictive. But for us users, it wastes our most precious resource. Can't make more of it, and you can't take it back. It's our time. If you're tired of wasting it, maybe give this a shot. I'm Joshua Smith. Thanks for joining. YouTube thinks you like this video here. If you have any comments on how you've countered your smartphone addiction, let me know in the comments below. God bless you. See you next time.